It's 4:11 in the morning when the alarm cuts through the dark. You don't hit snooze. You haven't hit snooze in 3 years. You dress in the same order every day: thermal base layer, thick cotton socks, work trousers with the reinforced knees. The boots go on last, steel-toed, worn at the heel, broken in the way only months of underground work can manage. You eat standing at the kitchen counter. 2 slices of toast, black coffee, nothing else. Your wife is still asleep. You don't wake her. The drive to the mine takes 22 minutes. You've done it so many times the road feels like a body memory, like breathing. The Mponeng gold mine sits south of Johannesburg in the Gauteng province, and it doesn't look like much from the surface. A cluster of headframes, administration buildings, processing facilities, fencing. Security checkpoints. But Mponeng goes down. It goes down further than any hole human beings have ever dug into this earth. Nearly 4 kilometers, deeper than the deepest ocean trench, deeper than most aircraft crews. And today, for the first time, you are going to the bottom. You're 19 days into the job, surface crew still. You spend your shifts moving ore from the primary crushers to the processing belt, logging weights, checking equipment. It's dusty, loud, relentless work. Your supervisor is a man named Dlamini who has been at Mponeng for 16 years and who communicates almost exclusively in short nods and sharp corrections. On your 3rd day, he watched you improperly secure a conveyor guard and said only, "Again." You did it again. You did it correctly. He walked away. That was the end of it. Surface pay is R7400 a month. Enough to cover rent in Carltonville, a few kilometers from the mine, where most of the junior workers live in company housing or rented rooms. Not comfortable, not uncomfortable enough. They call it the cage. It is not a metaphor. The cage is a steel elevator shaft that drops down the first-level shaft at speeds that make your stomach float. You grip the side rail the first time, and the man standing next to you, a veteran driller who has done this descent more than 2,000 times, doesn't even blink. The air changes immediately. It gets wetter, heavier. You feel it in your sinuses, then in your chest. By level 95, you understand that the mine breathes differently than the surface. By level 118, you understand that you are somewhere that was never supposed to have people in it. The rock temperature at depth is 60 degrees Celsius. Without the refrigeration systems, enormous, industrial-scale chillers that pump cold air and chilled water through the tunnels, no human being could survive down here. Even with them, it holds around 28 degrees in the working areas. You sweat constantly. Your helmet liner is soaked through within the first hour. Ventilation pipes run along the tunnel walls, groaning under pressure. The sound is constant. Fans, compressors, the distant percussion of drill heads biting into quartzite. You are assigned to tramming. You move ore in rail cars along the level tunnels from the blasting sites to the ore passes, vertical chutes that drop material to the crushers below. It is physical, repetitive work. You push cars by hand on the shorter runs, ride motorized locos on the longer hauls. Your team is 6 men. None of them talk much during shift. Talking wastes energy, and energy is currency down here. You learn the rules without being told them directly. You learn them the way animals learn territory, by watching, by proximity. By the small corrections other men make with their eyes, or their silence when you do something wrong. Rule 1. You never block an ore pass without verbal confirmation from below. Rule 2. You never remove your helmet except in the designated rest areas. Rule 3. You learn the seismic alarm tones and you learn them fast. Because at this depth, rock bursts are not a theoretical risk. They are a scheduled reality. At 3 months, Dlamini puts you in for level clearance. At 4 months, you begin descent to level 95 regularly. The cage ride is routine now. Your stomach doesn't float, you grip nothing. You eat your sandwich at the 95 level rest station, 40 minutes into your shift, same as everyone else. And you look at the walls of that place. Ancient Precambrian rock, gray gold in the headlamp light, 3 billion years old. And you feel something you cannot entirely name. Not pride yet, something older than pride. Belonging, maybe, recognition. The first time you see gold in the rock face, you almost walk past it. It doesn't look like what you expected. No glittering seams, no Hollywood shimmer. The Venterstorp contact reef, the gold-bearing layer that drew the Mponeng shaft down this far, is a thin, dark band running through the host rock. It averages about 10 centimeters wide. 10 centimeters, and yet the gold content in that band is among the highest grade ore deposits on the planet. You put your hand on it. The rock is warm. Everything down here is warm. 18 months in, you are reclassified. Rock drill operator trainee. The pay goes to R11200. The work becomes different in kind, not just degree. A rock drill at this depth weighs approximately 25 kilograms and operates at pressures that bruise your hands through the grip guards if you let your technique slip. You train on a section of already blasted tunnel face under a senior driller named Teboho, who is methodical to the point of liturgy. Every hole drilled at the same angle, every pattern measured twice before a bit touches rock. A misdrilled blast pattern at 3.8 kilometers underground can trigger a rock burst that kills a 12-man team in 3 seconds. Teboho never rushes. You stop rushing. You drill, blast, wait for the all clear, re-enter the heading after ventilation and begin again. The cycle is ancient. The technology around it is not blast computers, seismic monitoring networks, real-time ground support mapping, but the fundamental act of putting a hole in rock and filling it with explosive is something miners have done for centuries. Down here, you feel the weight of that history in a way you didn't expect. The seismic event happens on a Thursday, 8 minutes before shift end, level 118. The floor doesn't shake. That's what surprises you afterward when you describe it. It is not like an earthquake. It is a compression, a sudden, total tightening of the air, followed by a sound like something immense folding. The roof bolts hold. The shotcrete panels crack but don't fail. The alarm sound is 3 short pulses, repeated. You have done the drill 40 times. Your body knows what to do before your mind catches up. You reach the refuge bay in 4 minutes, 38 seconds. 11 men, all 11. The event is a magnitude 2.1 seismic incident, a minor one by Mponeng standards. That night, you sit in your car in the parking lot for 20 minutes before driving home. You don't tell your wife what happened. You're not sure you have the language for it yet. By year 3, you are a fully rated rock drill operator. Your pay is R17800 a month. You have a medical aid scheme. You have underground hour seniority. You have done 847 shifts below level 95. You know the sounds of the mine the way you know the sound of your own heartbeat, which fans are running normally, which compressor has a bearing that's starting to wear, which section of tunnel has ground that's been moving. And you have started to see it differently, what you do. When the Mponeng complex extracts gold, it sends approximately 330,000 tons of ore to the surface every month to yield roughly 16,000 kilograms of refined gold. That gold moves into the global supply chain, into electronics, into jewelry, into financial instruments, into the vaults of central banks. The world above this ground does not think about where it comes from. It does not think about the cage descent, about refrigerated tunnels at 60-degree rock temperatures, about the seismic monitoring systems running 24 hours a day to give a 30-second warning before the Earth decides to reclaim some of the space you've borrowed from it. You think about it, you can't stop. At year 5, an opportunity opens in the technical support team, ground control monitoring. The role requires additional certification and 6 months of modular training, but the mine funds it. And Dlamini, who has watched your development with the same minimal acknowledgement he gives everything, tells you to apply. This is, you will later understand, the most emphatic endorsement he gives anyone. Ground control is a different relationship with the mine. You move through it with sensors and data now, not just muscle and drill. You read the seismic network printouts every morning before shift. You walk newly blasted headings with a scaling bar, testing the roof, marking unstable zones for support crews. You understand now that the mine is not static. It moves. It breathes. It responds to extraction the way a living structure responds to stress. Redistributing load, finding new equilibrium, occasionally and without warning failing. The responsibility is different here. You are no longer keeping yourself safe. You are keeping everyone safe. Your pay is now R26400 a month. You have moved your family to a 3-bedroom house in Fochville. Your daughter is 7. She doesn't know what you do yet, not really. You've told her you work underground. She found this fascinating for approximately 1 week, and then moved on to more pressing concerns, which is exactly as it should be. But sometimes she asks you if you can see the dinosaurs down there. You tell her no. But 3 billion years is not that different, really, from the kind of time scale that feels like it contains dinosaurs. The rock you touch every day was formed before complex life existed on this planet. That means something to you, though you haven't figured out exactly what. Year 7, Senior Ground Control Technician, R34000 a month. Your shifts now occasionally include going below level 120, the deepest working sections, where the seismic risk is highest and the refrigeration systems work hardest. And the rock around you is warm enough that if you press your palm flat against it, you can feel something almost like a pulse. Almost like the mine knows you're there. You have stopped counting the cage rides. You have stopped noticing the way your ears adjust to pressure changes on descent. You have started noticing other things instead, the way younger workers hold the rail the first few times. The particular silence of a man who has just had his first close call with a seismic event, sitting in a refuge bay, eating nothing, staring at his hands. You remember being that man. You remember the parking lot. There are things about this work that you will never be able to explain to someone who hasn't done it. Not the danger. Danger is easy to describe, and people understand fear in the abstract. What you cannot explain is the intimacy of it, what it means to know a place this deeply. To know it in the dark, in the heat, in the sound of its movement. To have given it this much of yourself, and to feel somehow that it has given something back. 3.8 kilometers underground, at the bottom of the deepest gold mine ever built, you are completely alone, sometimes for minutes at a stretch. Just you, your equipment, the warm rock, the sound of the ventilation system, and the faint, constant, subtle tremor of the earth settling around you. You never think about going back to the surface permanently, not anymore. The mind doesn't let go of the people who truly learn it. That's not a threat, that's not even a warning. It's just the way this goes.